welcome everybody to Rowdy Girl Sanctuary. Renee King Sonnen, founder of Rowdy Girl. This is my husband Tommy Sonnen, co-founder. Now that he's vegan, I call him a co-founder. But before that, no, it was questionable. You wouldn't believe what I was calling him.
Co-founder.
Before that, I was calling him a murderer. No kidding. But you know, he's now been vegan 4 years, I guess. May will be 4 years.
May 2nd will be 4 years.
Yeah. May 2nd will be 4 years. Wow.
Glad I did it too.
Just a brief introduction. We are getting ready to move. Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, our entire operation is going to be moving to Caldwell County, Gonzales County. It's in both counties, actually. We're going to be are we an hour north of Austin?
We're about an hour from Austin, an hour from San Antonio.
North or?
35, 40 minutes from San Marcos.
North, east? I'm trying to figure out the direction from Austin.
Southeast.
Okay, so we're southeast from Austin. And then also...
South from Austin.
Okay, and then near San Antonio, we're going to be 2 hours from Houston. And so we're getting out of the floodplain. And so if you look around, you can see the actual demarcations on the trees as to how high the flooding was here, twice. And so 2 times we flooded in 2016, we flooded in 2017, and evacuating the animals and us because you have to, and have to leave everything behind is not something we ever want to do again. And hurricane season is on its way. So we have been really, really avidly trying to look for a place. Once we get moved, we have a place we found that we love. We have a contract. We're waiting to see if it gets accepted. It's about 45 or so more acres. And so we'll have more animals, and we will be doing a capital campaign to help. People will be able to sponsor different aspects of the new place. We're going to be incorporating our rancher advocacy program. If you haven't heard about what we're doing that way, we, as a result of our story, are also helping ranchers transition from animal agriculture to plant-based farming, all organic farming. So we've got quite an undertaking, but we've got several farms we're working with. We have a foundation that works with us that really believes in our mission, a foundation that works with several organizations in the world that are really aligned with the mission of ending animal agriculture and having a vegan world. So we're very proud of that. We work hard to do the best we can with what we got to work with. And so we have a membership program. How many of you might be members here today? Awesome. We got members. Thank you so much. Yeah, how about a hand for the members? It's members can join our Rowdy Herd, as we call it, for as little as $15 a month. And that membership goes a long way. It goes towards helping with not only the feeding, but also the vet care, all of the cost of maintaining, the roads, the equipment that it takes to feed the cows, just everything, all the hay. I mean, it's a lot, and it does not near cover all the expenses. So far, our goal is to eventually have so many members that it takes care of all of our expenses, even our staff. Would that be amazing to have a membership like that? So we have 274 members, and our goal this year is 400. And so we met and exceeded our goal last year, and we hope we do that again this year. But if you become a member today, we're going to be giving away a free box of the It's Jerky Y'all, and that's a $60 value. We do have it on sale today anyway for $30 for the whole box. So anyway, you can talk to us later about that. And we're giving away free calendars because it's March. All right. I'm going to turn it over to my wonderful husband. Most days he's a wonderful guy. Some days I want to just go, what the hell was I thinking? But not. I'm just kidding. Last night I told him, some people are saying that I'm like a comedian. I should be like doing Comedy Hour or something about animal rights and veganism. And Tommy went, I don't think some of the things you say are very funny. I was like, man, that's even funny all by itself. I'm going to use that line. So anyway, I'm going to turn it over to Tommy, the man that, he is the true hero in all this. I really do believe that. So let's give him a hand.
Thank you. I met Renee about 1990, 91. She was a singer. A friend of mine called me about 10 o'clock at night and said, come have one drink with me. And I said, no. And I hung up. He called me back and said, come on, man, there's a girl up here that wants to meet you. Well, he was lying. And I said no and hung up. He called me back again, and I went. And I met Renee. And, of course, my friend was lying, but we met and hit it off. She said she didn't date people that she met when she was singing, and I was the first. I doubt that's really true, but we got married, and we were divorced about 6 or 7 years after that. And we remained kind of friends, but I acquired this ranch in 2002, and the lady that owned it had about 15 cows. And I asked her, what are you going to do with those cows? And she goes, well, I'm going to send them to the sale barn. And I said, well, maybe we can make a deal. And we did. And so I became a rancher in 2002. Although I had owned land previous to that cows ran on, but I leased it to other people because I was busy working at Dow and had a lot of stuff going on. I was an avid hunter. I owned land in West Texas where I went to hunt. So I moved in here after I bought the place. I bought the 15 cows and started taking care of them. And I started doing hay because I realized that if you didn't make your own hay, you were never going to make money on cows. So I bought a bunch of equipment and started making the hay. And I shot 2 deer here on this place. And this was the first place that I ever lived that deer were, right here. I'd always travel to my property to hunt them. And it didn't take me long to realize that I didn't want to shoot deer because they were my neighbors. They were my friends. So I quit hunting well before I became vegan. I did not become vegan willingly. It was a strange set of circumstances that led me to a vegan lifestyle. And one of them would be that Renee moved in 2009, and we were remarried in 2010. And by that time, I was running about 30 mama cows and selling about, 25 calves a year. And the worst day that I ever had when I was a rancher, and most ranchers won't tell you this, but I bet they feel this. You take real good care of your animals. In fact, if you have a sick one when it's young, you'll baby it and feed it and everything. But ultimately, they go to the market because you can't just collect them, or I thought you could. We do now. So anyway, Renee moves in, and I'm selling calves, and she doesn't like this. It got real bad. Every time I sold calves, it became worse and worse, to the point she was calling me a murderer. And at that point, I'd look down on her floorboard. I remember once going, you're calling me a murderer, and your favorite cut of meat is a filet mignon, and there's 2 Chick-fil-A bags on your floorboard. And I said, that ain't right. And so she knew that wasn't right. And so and this is pretty recently, this is about 5 to 5.5 years ago, she started watching all these slaughterhouse videos. And I'd hear her in there boo-hooing, and I was sick of it, I was like, well, I guess we're going to get divorced again. And she'd be wanting me to watch them, and I'd be telling her, I'm not watching those things. That's crazy. I know what goes on in a slaughterhouse. I know what goes on with hunting and everything else. I never did kill anything that I didn't eat. Well, I take that back. At deer camp when I was a kid, me and some kids killed an armadillo, and we brought it back, And everybody said, well, you're having armadillo for supper, because they tried to instill in us, you know, the clean kill and eat what you kill. So we ate fried armadillo the first night, and it was edible. The second night, the ladies made us armadillo stew, and that cured me. Armadillo just goes on and on forever, and it's slimy, and when it's not fried. But after that, I never killed anything that I didn't eat. Anybody that I didn't eat. And like I say, I quit hunting before I became vegan. Then all this stuff went on with me and her, and I would not watch the videos. And I asked Renee, can I go ahead and retire? I think I got everything right. You know, I was making a little money on hay, a little money on cows, had a 401k, and she was doing something, and she said, go ahead and retire. And her little business was taking off, and so it was September of 2015 I retired. She went vegan about 30 days later. 2014, yeah, right. And we were having a lot of problems with animals because she had been blocking me from selling them. Two in particular was Rowdy Girl, the one that she had bought that I recommended she buy and bottle fed, but I was trying to get her into the business. Well, it got her into the mama business, and Rowdy Girl had Houdini, and Houdini and Rowdy Girl were real good at escaping the fence and eating on the highway. The cops were here 40 to 60 times that I know of, and the last one that was here was after Renee had gone vegan, and Renee couldn't find a sanctuary to get rid of them. I couldn't sell them, and they were just getting out all the time. The last cop that was here said, I'm going to have to give you a fine, Tommy. And it was a lady from Brazoria. And I said, no, really, don't give me a fine. My wife has gone vegan. She won't let me sell the cows. I don't know what I'm going to do. And she goes, ooh, okay. And I reached in my billfold and handed her Renee's card. She said, okay, I'm going to fine her next time. And so Renee comes home, and I said, well, you're fixing to get fined. And you know, I told her the story, and she goes, what are we going to do? And I said, well, we can move them up into the hay compound, which it used to be all where the animals are right there. It was the only net wire fence that we had on the place. So Rowdy Girl and Houdini started eating all my hay, and then, you know, me and her are fighting. I'm trying to sell other cows, and it came to a you know, real climax out there whenever I'm trying to load cows. She comes up to me, and she said, over my dead body, you're not taking these cows. If you load these cows up and take them, I'm following you. I'm going to either buy them back with your credit card, or I'm going to go to jail, and you're going to be the most embarrassed person in the county when you have to come bail me out. And I know Renee well enough to know that even if she didn't do what she said, it was going to be bad. And so I threw my hat down, stomped around, started cussing, saying, get out of my blankety-blank business. I'm going to sell this whole blankety-blank herd. I'm getting out of the business. And I was thinking, well, how can I get divorced without losing everything? Because she is very smart and knows a lot of lawyers. And so I was in a bind, and she goes, well, if you're going to sell the whole herd, why don't you sell them to me? And I had previously told her to find a sanctuary to get rid of, you know, find a nice home for Rowdy Girl and Houdini. Well, she couldn't. And I figured it was going to be just like that. I figured she'd try for a couple days, a week, and then it would all go away, and then I'd figure out what I was going to do. Well, within a few days, she had collected some money, and I mean significant money, because I told her I would sell her the cows for $30,000, and prices were real high at that time, and I owed a lot of money on hay equipment. You know, had I known what I know now, I'd have said, sure, let me donate them to you and we'll start a sanctuary. But I had no intentions on becoming vegan or becoming part of a sanctuary at that time. And so I thought, well, okay, and she was able to collect that money, but while she was collecting it, there were people like Kip Anderson and a group called the Vegan Legion and other people coming around. And I wasn't the healthiest person in the world at that point. I'd get very out of breath walking across the pasture. And so I told her after I cooled off, which took about 15 to 30 days, I'm gonna start eating like you are, but I'm gonna tell you if I don't like it. And everything was really, really bad. I mean, it sucked. And I did not like the taste of everything that she was eating. And she was going, oh, isn't this great? And I was going, why? So I started cooking potatoes, onions, jalapeno peppers, and even some tofu. And I liked it. And I dropped about 30 pounds, 40 pounds, and I started feeling better. And anyway, it took me till May 2nd, 2015 to become vegan, and it was a process. I'd go down to the Sonic and get a grilled cheese, and I didn't want to give up my ice cream. But on May 2nd, Follow Your Heart, So Delicious, had product here, and this is 2015, and I said, I can do this. I've been vegan since May 2nd, 2015. And at first it was just, you know, health. But then as I learned, you know, more about what was happening to the earth and animal agriculture as far as growing cows around the world, they're growing them in the wrong places. It's terrible. They're doing live export. I became an environmental vegan, probably second. Health vegan, environmental vegan. I'm still, you know, I was born to hunt, fish, and all that. So, you know, I've still got that in me, but, you know, I don't like killing things. So I don't have to anymore, and I don't have to drop off the cows at the sale barn and have them look back at me, you know, because you're the only person there that they ever knew, and they're looking at you like, hoping, you know, you'll help them. And anyway, I don't have to do that anymore.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is where he usually cries, so that's why we had to stop talking. Just kidding. Hey, Tommy, 56 seconds left. See, you did good.
On 10 or 15?
No, 15.
Wow.
You did good. He didn't think he could talk 15 minutes. I said, no, you can. You got this. We're trying to time it today so that we don't end up too long. So our story can go on and on, you know. Yeah. So, all right, how many of you have heard of Dr. Will Tuttle? His book, The World Peace Diet, is amazing. I've read it through and through. It's a textbook, y'all. This is a book that should really be taught in schools all over the world. Dr. Tuttle is actually at the Rice Veg Fest tomorrow, along with Dr. Sailesh Rao and Dr. Linda Carney. And Rowdy Girl will have a booth there, and I will be doing a workshop with Dr. Rao in a breakout. So we're excited about tomorrow. I was a presenter last year. It was their first Veg Fest, and tomorrow from noon to 7, if you guys don't have any plans, make it to Rice Veg Fest. You'll be so glad you did. I mean, I'm totally out of flyers, so I've already given them all away. All right, so Tommy told you our story. There's really not much for me to tell in terms of our story, and that's the reason why I wanted you to do it, because you do such a great job of telling our story. You know, the only thing I can add to the story is I was born in Texas. I had a collection of leather boots. I mean, exotics. I've had every type of animal skin on my body. I was the rhinestone cowgirl type. You know, I went to the rodeo, Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, ever since I was able to walk. I I always went to the rodeo. Never saw anything wrong with it, even though I didn't like the stuff that involved, you know, like roping the cows and stuff. I never liked that. I mean, I just didn't want to watch it. But I never equated it to the fact I wanted to be vegan. I never even thought about going vegan. It was not even in my thought process until I moved out here. Even though I had been plant-based, in fact, raw plant-based at one time, because I'm a yoga enthusiast. I've been doing yoga for many, many years, meditation. And so as a result, I stumbled on concepts like ahimsa and practiced nonviolence, you know, because it was part of our studies, and I, you know, read all the books, you know, and that's one of the things now that I know, now that I'm vegan, I'm like, every single person that considers themselves a yogi or yogini needs to be vegan. Oh yeah. It just doesn't even make sense now that I know what I know, you know. But until you know what you know is what you're fed. And we're fed a bunch of bullshit, y'all. It's just plain and simple. We are fed a bill of goods in our world that keeps us conditioned to buy animal agriculture's products. Animal agriculture is by far the leading cause of climate destruction, all the Amazon forests going away, deforestation. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You know, animals, people, we're all fighting over grains. You know, the very grains that our food system feeds our animals that we call food, when farm animals get that grain, there's people the world over that starve. You know, we got it all wrong. And I didn't understand until I went vegan that I was, you know, if you've seen The Matrix, you know. You know, you're in a world where there's a blue choice and a red choice. But, you know, when you're born, you're plugged in to the choice they choose. They choose that choice for you. For all of us. Because we're taught through our families, through tradition, through religion, through education, through the media, through the government. We are taught that choice. It's not our choice. See, if, you know, when we really look at it, we're all born vegan. We're all born with an innate compassion to love all beings and care for beings. We would never, as a young child, pick up a little bunny and chomp on its head or pull off its leg, you know, and tear into it. We wouldn't do that. We'd eat a peach or some grapes. But given the choice of a little bunny or a handful of grapes, I dare say a child would never start eating on a little baby bunny. It's not something that we would do. So this is a condition. You know, in this book, that's why I love it so much, is Dr. Tuttle really gets into the philosophy, the science, the mental, intellectual discussion. It's, you know, it says eating for spiritual health and social harmony. You know, we want world peace. But what are we eating? Is what we're eating contributing to peace? Or is what we are eating contributing to violence? See, these are questions each one of us must ask. And if we are eating violence, why? Is it because it's hard? Please. The animals have it hard. The animals that are being slaughtered every second. Chickens alone, the last statistic I read was 300 a second. A second, not an hour. 300, 600, 900, 1200, 15, I mean, a second. And not only are they slaughtered viciously, they are crammed into conditions where they cannot even even survive without being completely and totally miserable. Their survival is misery. You know, and so I'm saying all this because people come here, and a lot of people aren't vegan. A lot of people are, and some people are transitioning. And so what I do is educate. I'm not here to condemn anyone. I always say, we used to be cattle ranchers and kill animals. That was part of what we did to pay bills. You know, but see, I was complicit to their suffering. Earthling Ed uses that word a lot. He's been here. I love Earthling Ed because he has such a powerful message. You know, and when we are complicit to the suffering of other beings, yet we love animals, we have to know there's a split inside our consciousness. We're split. Because most people that are complicit will not watch those videos. They will not watch the suffering. When I finally started digesting the suffering, and I had to digest it. I had to take it in, digest it, and allow it to become part of my being, the suffering of animals. I watched it every second of the day, I think. The whole time I was awake, while I was doing anything, I was watching slaughterhouse videos. This is what I had to do. Because I couldn't understand, I just couldn't fathom that was really true. Somehow I thought they were just making all this up, that these were just images that PETA Foundation or whatever had, you know, put out there for us to believe. It wasn't really true, but I couldn't get around it. Everywhere I went, it was the same. The suffering of animals, the confinement of animals, the torture, the secrecy, the veils of lies. And when I finally broke, when I finally went vegan, it was October 31st, 2014. And I had been watching all those videos. Tommy and I had been fighting a lot, like you said. We were on the brink of divorce. We would never say the word, but we knew our marriage couldn't take the strain of what we were going through. And I watched a dissertation by Melanie Joy on carnism. And that presentation spoke about a family enjoying a pot of beef stew. Beef stew was always one of my favorites. Pot roast with all the vegetables. Well, this family was enjoying this beef stew and loving every minute of it until someone said, "What's the recipe?" And the lady of the house says, "Well, you start off with a pound of very young golden retriever." Everyone stopped eating. They couldn't imagine even taking another bite because that image of a baby puppy being chopped up into bits was in their mind. Now, why was it okay to eat a baby cow? Why were they eating that without even thinking a thing about it? Conditioning, y'all. Plain and simple. A baby calf is just as adorable and loving and wanting its mother, wanting its family as a baby puppy. There is no difference except in what we're taught. You know, we've all agreed that red is red, haven't we? We've all agreed that orange is orange. But if you're colorblind, you don't agree with that because you don't see colors. See, we all agree on animal agriculture until we don't see it anymore as a choice. Once it becomes obvious that it's, oh my God, it's not about choice, y'all. See, I used to think, well, that's your choice. If you want to eat ribeye or filet mignon, that's your choice. I mean, doesn't that make sense that it's a choice? I mean, and it made sense until I went vegan. Then I began to see that it's not the animal's choice. Why is it okay because it's my choice? If somebody chooses to eat me, well, it's their choice. They want to string me up, slit my throat, chop me into bits, put me in a beef stew. Is that okay? No, because we've all agreed that that's wrong. to do that to another human. So what happens is we begin to filter into the belief system of speciesism. Speciesism is so real. Every one of us. I'm constantly aware of how I'm still a speciesist. I have to constantly be on guard for not saying things like, oh, let's kill two birds with one stone. No, how about let's feed two birds with one scone? We are so taught to violate and harm animals, even in our talk, even in the things we say. So it's speciesism. When we think, because we're human, that our life is more important than a chicken or a pig or a cow, we're a speciesist, and that's just plain and simple. It's kind of like being a racist or a bigot, or a homophobe. If we put one type of person or race up here, and we think we're superior, then that's a problem. See, we're all earthlings. Every one of us are born on this planet for our own purpose. We have our own community. We have our own feelings, our own rights. We want to be with our families. Humans have decided that they can dominate animals. And see, this didn't start happening till 8,000 to 10,000 years ago. That was a long time ago when humans started herding animals, herding, and hurting them, because they started rounding them up. They figured out they could own them, and so they did, and they started trading them. And the next thing you know, we're having fights and wars over animals, over land, so we can have more land, more animals to make more money. The very word war, according to Dr. Tuttle, means the desire for more cattle. The word war in Sanskrit, defined, is the desire for more cattle. We are programmed to believe that war is the answer so that we can have more power. We are programmed to believe that boundaries are necessary. Like that. Animals all know what their boundaries are. But somehow humans have decided that they have to have all them. I'm going to get off on, my own thoughts now, because I really do see it. I don't see animals erecting walls. This is just my belief. We have become such a people that we have decided that we have to create walls, and it's just pure speciesist or racist. Believing that one group is better than another. We're earthlings. We share this planet. If we all got away from eating animals, there'd be no more wars. We wouldn't have anything to fight over. When it boils right down, it's either animals or the food that you grow for animals, the land that you herd for animals. It's all over animal agriculture. And then, I'm stopping it, I'm rounding it up. And then we can take that same idea and we can take it into our capitalistic system. The word capita means head, which comes from the terminology head of cattle. Our entire capitalism society is based on the heads of cattle. Our money system, stock market, livestock. See, we've all bought into this at birth. This is what we're taught. Unless we're born in vegan parents now. Wow, the kids that are being born today are being taught something totally different. There's a whole new culture out there that's coming up today. This book speaks of hope. This book speaks of it. Dr. Sailesh Rao speaks of it. He has the momentum for a vegan world by 2026. My entire language, my entire being, every ounce of what is inside of me is propelling me towards that reality. I will do whatever I can to speak for the voiceless. And I will do whatever I can to be there for each and every one of you on your journey to going vegan. Thank you very much. Thank you.